little dose of smallpox, and it would make a big scab. It should fall off.
You still have the scar.
Yeah.
I got it somewhere.
A lot of people have it that are our age or a little bit older. Yeah.
Yeah. And then just start, yeah. Yeah.
So, David, what's going on in the mountains? Is the weather nice or hot or?
Yeah, it's basically in the 70s, gets into the 80s. I think the
It
next.
must be nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is. It really is great. I mean, I understand when you all got the, the family connections that you all have, that it's not as easy. But after Karen's mom died, it was she had her sister and her niece there, and and there was some extended family from there. But we were really freed up enough once Karen retired. So, and it was something that we had thought about. I mean, there was the Blue Ridge Mountains just had really impressed me when I had seen them. Even before I met Karen, I worked with the YMCA for a while, and there's a YMCA assembly center, training center, whatever. It was for the youth as well as for the the YMCA managers, directors, and it's right on the other side of Asheville, and it was just this classic from the front steps of the main building, which was kind of neat. It kind of looked like something you'd see in Louisiana. This giant building, giant pillars, and as you looked out, you saw the range after range after range of mountains. It just I was impressed. I had never traveled a lot. I guess I had already seen the Rocky Mountains, but they were too overwhelming. The Blue Ridge seemed more inviting.
Oh, they are. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Especially when you get used to Monkey Hill real quick here, and so like after,
That was me.
yeah. You're gonna see some elevation. You say, "Wow, man!"
That's real elevation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Hi, Emily.
Hey,
Hi,
Emily.
Mom. How are you? I was just finishing up.
Hey, Emily.
I know. I was just finishing up some work. How are you guys doing?
Okay.
Good.
How are you?
So you left one Zoom to go to another Zoom?
I know. I mean, I'm like so zoomed out. I'm not zoomed out. I mean, I'm getting the hang of it, but still, the internet's, I'd still rather just share a beer with you guys or a root beer with Bonnie,
Here we go. Here we go.
I need to go to Frankie and Johnny's.
Like, this is about the only time I drink beer is when I feel impelled. It must be like Pavlov's dog. I'm with mustache people.
I know.
I don't have any beer in the refrigerator. The mustache people are coming over. I thought, okay, we'll get more stuff.
So is New Orleans is more closed down now, right, than it was, or not?
I would say yes.
I think it's more closed down today than it was last week.
Oh yeah, because they stopped all the takeout window drinks. The people selling drinks out on the street.
Mhm.
So we ate in a restaurant yesterday. We went inside in Mid-City, the Blue Oak barbecue place
Uh-huh.
on Carrollton by Orleans, and we ate inside. People wore masks, and then when they sat down, they took the masks off. It was fine.
Got it. Well, so Donnie, are you going to have more grandkid responsibilities if the schools don't open up?
Not really, because the girls, their schedules are, they have 3 days a week that really need care. And one of the husbands is still home. He works for a television company channel. He works for Fox 8, and he's working out of his home, and he has been. So he does all the editing. He works for the investigative reporter. So he can do everything. They've got an area that he's all set up. And so he
It's all computer work he can work from
yeah,
home.
I mean, he's got he has to maybe go out for a couple of interviews now and then, but I don't really see it. They're in a parochial school, so they will be going back next week. Now, of course, if something changes, the girls prepared me. But I told them I'm open when you get in a jam. I'm certainly, but they've come up with a plan. I like what they're doing because they came up with plan B in case something happens, and how they might try a platoon system if this first system doesn't work. In other words,
They have contingencies.
they have a lot of
Situation.
contingencies, so.
Well, and I think that's the key to it right now, is just trying to put up plan A, B, C, and D, right? You know.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, and then I just tell them Dad and I are available. We're retired, you know. We certainly, and if they need us, then we're here.
Right.
And there are other grandparents. The good news is they both have 2 sets of grandparents. It's not just one.
Yeah.
They're
and
close
that's
by.
Great. I mean, the same thing with Billy and Bonnie is that they're able to jump in and help out, you know, no
Yeah.
matter what. And so
None
that's
of our grandkids are in school though, so it's
Here comes
helpful.
John Murata.
right. But they will be one day.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hopefully this coronavirus stuff will be done with by then.
Yep.
We were sort of hoping our kids would have some kids during the coronavirus.
Yeah, right. I mean, we've not heard
And
anything.
it's still possible.
I guess, but I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, please.
Sounds like looking for their own space though. How are they going to do that?
Well, I mean, that's why we're going out to California. I'm going to have to give them a hard
And
time,
that one too.
you know. So.
Yeah.
So John, you have to turn your camera on.
I'm undressed, so I gotta get dressed first.
Okay.
Oh,
It's
no
not
big
that I know
thing.
you don't mind, but the women would might mind.
There's no big thing.
Cue
Huh?
the temptation. Cue the temptation strip. Here we go.
Just don't hit that video button by mistake.
I will. Hold on.
Oh, Lord. That's too funny.
This is the first day of my quarantine.
What?
The Cajun.
Yeah, my son came home yesterday and he says, we're quarantined for the next 14 days.
Oh, how come? Who got it?
He went to where he works. One of the guys he works with went to see a relative during the weekend, and then he just found out that he has the disease. So he got up this morning, he went to the doctors, and they tested him. So they got to wait for the results. So meanwhile, that means I got to do everything, including wipe down everything. So now, so I said, how you feel? He said, oh, I feel great. I said, good. You went to the doctor? He said, yeah. I said, he said he took 2 different tests. Great. How'd you do? Oh, everything? Yeah, no problem. He said, I only threw up once. I said, what do you mean you threw up? He said, well, on the way over there, I kind of got nervous, so I had to stop the car and throw up.
And you don't know whether he's throwing up because he's nervous or what.
He's the kind of guy that throws up because he's nervous. He's that kind.
So do you live with your kids or?
No, my son lives with me. I own this place.
Gotcha.
so the son that's quarantined is living with you.
Yeah, he'd done that. Matter of fact, he was with my wife the last 6 months of my life. He was the one who went out and shopped and everything. I got a lot of stuff that I never ate before.
Well, John, we were talking about the lucky dogs.
Did your son get tested for COVID or what?
Yeah, he gave him 2 tests. So
Is he
we-
positive or negative, or you don't know yet?
they don't know. It was just today. It wasn't one of those tests you give 5 minutes. It's one of those. I think it's 4 days before he'll know.
Because last week I was having a sore throat, so Dottie and I went and got tested and came back negative.
Yeah. Well,
How long did it take them to come back?
What?
before I had the operation.
4 days.
Well,
Yeah, 4 days was when I had. Yeah, I had to go get one just before the operation. It took 4 days to get it back.
That's not
So-
bad. Out in California, it's been taking 10 days, and that's kind of like you could be dead by then.
It depends on whether or not, like for me, the operation, I had to have it by Friday, so they did it. They gave me the test. Another one with him, when you actually have come in contact with someone, they don't fool around. They got to know right away. So,
Okay, here comes Jeff Jones.
huh?
I had to get a COVID test before I went for my colonoscopy, and they shoved that thing down my nose. I told them they could have saved, so I could have got a twofer if they could have put a camera on the damn swab.
Oh, God.
So to say the joke about, okay, Billy, the joke. Did the doctor confirm?
I don't know.
Never. The big
They said he
asshole.
still had his brains.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, no, they didn't see anything in my head either, or my colon, so it's good.
Who is
So
that?
we got
We have Joan and Jeff trying
Joan
to
and
get
Jeff
Yeah.
coming on. Joan needs to put her camera on, and Jeff needs to put his mic and his camera on.
I got some pictures. I don't know if I should, what I got to do, but like, I don't know. Can you see like something like that?
That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was good.
All right.
that's
That's
cute.
Danny Thomas. And then I got one.
And the girls.
Here's the one from Joe, the bartender's room.
Oh, yeah, with Jackie Gleason, yeah.
Yeah.
I like-
Those are great. You
Yeah.
got nice 8x10s.
And then this one is with Ed Sullivan. Ed
Where's
Sullivan.
that?
Yeah.
That's one I don't think, oh yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah.
See the girl standing next to Ed Sullivan?
Who is that?
That's Joel's daughter. Not daughter, his sister. And him and her didn't get along, so she moved to San Francisco. She started a clothing business and did fantastic. So she wanted to change her name because everyone still knew her as Schiavone. So she changed her name to Spinach.
Spinach?
Spinach?
Yep. It runs in the family.
I thought it was broccoli.
This is
Jennifer-
You gotta put your camera on.
this is a publicity picture
Oh,
in
what
New York. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
This is another publicity.
Hey, Joan.
Hello. Jeff.
Hey, Joan.
Hey,
Say,
Jeff,
Jeff.
Hey,
Jeff,
Jeffrey.
you got a collared shirt on. That's nice.
Hey, I got
It's like
dressed
Mardi
up.
Gras colors.
Jeff, you
I
look
got
cute.
dressed. I look cute.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
Give
look
him a
like a
drink.
5-year-old.
Give him a drink.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get you on my iPad. It'll take me 2 days.
You got it.
Good.
Looks good.
Of course, everybody could be the Sheik Arabi here with no pants on. We don't know.
That's
You
right.
almost caught me, so.
How bad do you want to know?
Here's,
Okay.
can't think of this, the English guy's name. Yeah, Black. Is that Black? What's his name? I can't think of it.
It's hard to see.
All right, where am I? Okay. The
Harry
banjo
Black?
player right here.
Musket on the one?
Is that
Maybe it's Harry Black.
Harry Black? That's who it is.
Harry Black.
Yeah. Harry Black, he came over from England. Joe brought him over because he was playing in the England club. And he wanted to put him in the show band to get him into the swing of things. So, all right, so we're going to go to Tennessee. So I said, okay, we're going to fly out tomorrow morning. He says, no. I said, what do you mean? He said, I can't fly. I said, what do you mean? How'd you get here? He said, I took the boat. He said, I'm afraid of flying. I used to have to send him out 2 days before by train. And in those days, you have to make connections in 6 different places. It cost me more money to send him to a job than it was worth. So that's how we got to play in the club. But he, honest to God, he really was afraid of flying.
He just died a couple of years ago.
Huh? Yeah,
He died a couple of years ago.
yeah. He and his wife were at the, weren't he and his wife at the Carnegie
At
Hall?
Carnegie, yeah, they were. at
Yes.
Carnegie.
Yeah, I saw him there, and I tell you, he laughed. Him and his wife. His wife came over after he was here about 6 months. I guess he wanted to make sure, and she had just a little baby at the time. She had a couple of, just a little kid. So she would babysit for people and everything. But he was a great guy. I liked him. It was really fun.
Mhm.
He had a great.
And did Les and Ian Bennettts come over at the same time?
Who?
They were the British boys,
Those two, the brothers.
the brothers, yeah.
Yeah, they came. No, the older one came first. The younger one came second, and he
Okay.
went into work as a waiter. That guy, the younger one, he was.
Ian played washboard, I think, didn't he?
Ian played
And Les
banjo.
played banjo.
Yeah, he started out as a waiter, then he played
Yeah.
washboard. Yeah,
Well, see,
But he
Les
was-
came down to New Orleans, and he changed his name to Les Davies.
Yeah,
You guys
I don't-
remember him, huh, Billy?
I knew I knew Les Davies. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's who they talking about. He was originally Les Bennett's, but then
Oh,
he changed his name to Les Davies. And when he was in New Orleans, he did a nice job, but they didn't let him go. He was drinking way too much.
Yeah, he got kind of bawdy late at night too.
Yeah.
He did a couple old, I'm sure, English bar songs or something.
Yeah,
I
he,
think
got, he,
Ian had
started getting,
problems with
he
drinking.
started getting nasty on the stage. You
Yeah,
know? He would get drunk and then start getting vulgar.
a little bit. Yeah.
he
Yeah,
would.
but
I think they would get the two brothers. They would get homesick, and here's the bad news: they used to hang out with my kid brother, so that was not a good influence on them.
Yeah.
My kid brother and Les used to hang out a lot, and
Yeah, I
that was
remember.
some combination.
I remember when Les was drinking. Let me show you where I keep my gun. He always kept a gun in his boot.
But Les Bennett's or Les Davies, he only was the band leader in New Orleans for, I would say, 6 months, and he was gone.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was Harry Black. Harry Black went back to England. He opened something like our club in Blackpool, near Blackpool. He was
Blackpool,
from
right.
Blackpool. He was from Blackpool originally, and he was there. It lasted a long time, right till he died. When he came over here for the Carnegie deal, he and I were talking. He was telling me that everything was going great for him, and it was just like the Mustache, except they had English songs. I don't know what English
Mike.
song.
Hey,
Mike
Mike.
Gentry.
Hey,
Hey, Mike.
how you doing?
Okay.
How's
Hey,
everybody?
Michael.
Really
Doing
good.
Hello. You know, Harry Black was the banjo player in Brussels in 1972, because I took his place for the summer when he went on vacation. And then when I got back, I went to work with John. I was with the show band for 3 or 4 months.
You know, well, you were talking about the different cities that we were in. We were in Canada, Montreal. Then we had a club in London. We had a club in Blackpool.
We had a club in London?
Yeah, right on Carnaby Street there, where all the clubs, all the nightclubs were.
The
And then we
Mustache had a club in London? Is that what you said?
It was a real. You couldn't have a real club. You had to have a what was it? A gentleman's club kind of. You had to belong to the club. So that, you go in and you paid $5 and you got your card. You belong to the club. And then
Club means an entire different thing.
yeah, and then we had a club in. A lot of people don't know this. We had a club in Florence, Italy for a while. We had it for one summer.
I thought that was Red Garter. Huh.
Well, it was Red Garter. Same to me. They're all same to me.
Oh,
It was
okay.
a club that had banjo players and pains in
Gotcha.
the ass. That's all.
Banjo players and peanuts.
What happened there is they were having a lot of trouble because women would go in, a lot of American women would go in there and they'd get their pockets picked because all these gypsies would go in, they just pick their pockets. So then the summer was going by and then they had the rainstorm that flooded everything because the club was down below street level and it flooded it. So he never bothered bringing it back up, I don't think. But that's the ones I remember. It was just, for a while there, we were just opening one after another. And all I had to do is at one point, I used to write the paychecks out, and I used to have to use a spreadsheet. There was no computer. And I have to get them out by Thursday night. And I used 2 or 3 50-line spreadsheets to pay the musicians. So a musician worked for me for 1 hour or one day, I had to write a paycheck. So all these guys all over the country, all over the world, I had to write paychecks for. And of course, all of them wanted it today. But I managed to get them out. That was before FedEx. That was all before that stuff. So it was a pain in the neck, but we managed to get them out.
Yeah, but you made them stars, John.
I know. That's
You
what
made
kept
them
them coming
stars.
back. That's what made them come back.
That's right. We didn't need to get paid.
You know, a lot of you didn't get paid. You don't know it, but a lot of you didn't get paid. No, you all got paid. You all were worth what you got too.
Oh, oh,
Oh,
oh.
What you got?
You were good people. You were very good people. You guys, you know what it was? You were all having fun. I mean, I was too busy to have fun. I was just going from one place to another. But you guys, wherever you went, you had fun. I don't know if you had enough fun for the money you got, but you had fun.
No, we
Hey,
did.
Joan.
We did have fun, except for some of the jobs you found for us.
I had to keep you working.
The Kentucky State Fair. The Kentucky State Fair.
Oh, jeez, I'll never. What is the worst? Kentucky State Fair or Lake Compounds? Tell the truth.
No. Lake Compounds. Hey, I sent a photograph. Tom?
Yeah, I'm getting the photographs right now. Which one do you want?
The one of the roller coaster.
Okay, I'll find it.
There's the Florida thing with
That's sunny.
Jackie Gleason. Is that my new next
Gleason.
album? I think so. Huh?
No,
this is
I
when they
think
first started. When they first started Joe the bartender's room.
when I was on the road, we didn't have a show band. It was before the Hairy Lip. You just booked some
Right.
strange,
That's right.
unusual.
I
Challenge.
booked
Challenge.
anything I could. I'm not proud. And I'll tell you the funniest one. I booked. I think Christine was on it. Bob Adams. It was upstate New York, and it was the Shakers. And they don't drink, they don't smoke, they don't do any of that. And so we get up there, and I think Christine was on that too. And what the guy comes to me and he says, the guy who booked me out of, I was a guy out of Boston who was a friend of mine. And they were his customers for 30 years. He was an old guy. So he throws me a bone. I said, I'm going to be up that way. You got anything? So he says, yeah, there's something in New York. The guy who was the responsible comes up to me and he says, I don't want any songs about drinking, smoking, or dancing. The girls can't dance. My God, there's half the show. So I go up to the band and I said, they don't want any drinking, smoking, or dancing. I said, girls got to stay still. Well, he said, look at Banu, and she can't stay still. She's moving just in sleep, she moves. So everything's going along, and I'm holding my breath, and we're getting to the end, and then the audience starts to get unruly. There's this one woman in the back. Sing us a song about drinking. How about 100 bottles of beer on the go? And they're going. Joe Turra can't take, not Joe Turra, Bob Adams, he can't take it anymore. And he stops and he turns around to the band and he says something to them. And they go wild. Banu's dancing all over the place. They're singing about the crowd gets up and they're going crazy. They love it. They love it. Meanwhile, there's about 5 Shakers in the audience. That was the last time I ever got a deal from that guy. It was because there it is, like compounds.
There it is.
oh man.
There's the famous roller coaster.
You got paid. You got paid for playing, and you got free roller coaster all day long.
And we were on it all
That
day.
sounds
Oh,
like fun.
It was a wonderful gig. And the crowd was wonderful, very classy, high class. You know, John,
They-
you with the Shakers, I remember when you booked us, the bankers of Virginia. And we got there and they were all beautifully dressed. A lot of men tied their own bow ties. There was a lot of blue hair and white gloves. The women were perfect. And I said, what are we going to do? I mean, they're all drinking tea with the pinkies. And I looked at the band. I didn't even know who was playing. And I said, we're in deep poo. That's it. We're dead meat. And then I said, come on, carry me back to old Virginia. And we played it and they stood up, seriously stood up and sang. I mean, it wasn't screaming and yelling. It was like hand over the heart. So we started every set with Virginia and we ended up with Dixie.
Oh,
In between, they went into a coma. They went back to the tea. Oh God, I don't know how you got us that gig, but that was the one at the old homestead.
I'll tell you, oh, the old Olmsted. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I can't figure out is how did I get you guys back into some of these places after you played there?
You didn't. You didn't.
I mean,
I played ball one night, returned, the only one I returned to continually was Lake Compounds. And that's because I brought up hot dogs and just threw them at the audience. Raw meat. What a crowd. What a crowd.
That was, I tell you the truth, I looked forward to that for the first 4 weeks. And then after that, forget about it.
Oh, my.
Russell Adams.
Russ Adams.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Are
Yeah.
you shitting me? That was his, that's what he always said.
That's it. And if you notice the lamps, the gas lamps,
Yeah.
those were the Wellsback. Those are the Wellsback lamps. The company was still in business from 18 something or other in Brooklyn. And I bought those.
Now,
And
is
I
that the
didn't.
John, is that the Hairy Lip office all the way to the right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All the way to the right there is the
Yeah.
Harry Lip office. Originally, what started out was that was just one big office, and my job was to go there. When I got hired, I'd get the money out of the safe, and I'd have to go in that office and count the money. But I was in the wide open space; everyone could see me pass by. So what I have to do is there was a little bathroom in the corner. I'd have to go in that little bathroom. I'd take a wastebasket with me. I'd turn it upside down. I'd sit on that. I'd take a board. I'd put that over the toilet. I'd have the there. And in the summertime, I used to, in those days when I first started there, I wore a three-piece suit. I started there and I'd go into that little toilet. I'd start sweating. So I took a hanger with me. I would have to strip down, hang it on the back of the door, and there I am sitting in my city, counting the money. Then I'd have to, and then God forbid if I had to go to the bathroom because the money was all over the place. It was,
Yeah.
oh, it was amazing.
Just be careful what you wipe with, I guess. Huh?
On that window there, I seem to remember like a logo, Hairy Lip logo with a mustache. I mentioned that last week. Y'all don't remember that?
I don't think so. It may have been your father's
Right there.
birthday.
No, it was different.
It was different. You remember
was
it, right?
Yeah, that right
But
there.
you see now, I had Hairy Lip. This office was Hairy Lip for until about, I think, 1970. And then I moved. I had the Harry Lip office was over by Joel's house, over on West 4th. And I had it was a storefront. It was just me and Kathy Goodleaf.
Well, it was
And,
here, this office right here was Harry Lip in 72, because that's when I was with you.
What?
That's right. Sure.
Well, I must have moved right after that. And because first I went to Joel, I worked underneath the basement of Joel's house, brownstone. And at that time, I was training managers. That's what it was. I was training managers. I had 3 guys being trained, and I had a test that I would write up, and I'd tell them, you're going to have the test. Meanwhile, Joe would let them sleep at the brownstone. So the next day, I had one real smart-ass guy from Boston, and he'd given me trouble all along, and I knew him from when he was a waiter. So I give him the test. I marked the test. This son of a bitch gets 100. 100. I mean, I had the weirdest, stupidest questions, and this guy gets 100. Later on, he tells me he came down that night, jimmied open my desk drawer, found the test, wrote it down, and went back. He's the guy.
That'd make him pass the test.
This guy, when McDonald's first opened, they wouldn't let McDonald's open in New York City. There was no McDonald's was allowed in New York City. And finally, this old man and this young kid who made their money in the oil market, buying and selling oil, they managed to get McDonald's opened on around 42nd Street. And so what it was is McDonald's was on the floor, and he'd have to walk up a flight of stairs. He was the manager. He became the manager. He'd walk up a flight of stairs with the money and do that. Well, he's walking up that flight of stairs, and all of a sudden, there's 3 guys behind him with guns. Guy who was, like I said, who was a real Boston guy. He wasn't going to give up the money. So he grabs the door, and he's trying to shut the door. They just start shooting. They hit him 6 times. And the son of a bitch wouldn't let go of that door, and he wouldn't let go of the money. He was in the hospital, I don't know how long. But he was a tough old guy. All that beer does things for you.
Oh,
God.
Jesus.
Oh, God.
That was Lake Compounds. My hair was a little longer. What?
What made you let you go back?
Jeff, is that you?
Yes.
My goodness.
I was
You look,
Jesus, I was 24.
you look like St. Matthew.
I look like Margaret Rutherford. Are you kidding me?
I like the T-shirt.
Right after this, dressed, looking like that, I went out to Oregon and to get my first graduate degree, and I was a teaching assistant. And I showed up like this.
On in Oregon. He was out there then. He started it.
Listen.
Jeff, you hired him looking like that? I mean, John, you hired him looking like that?
No.
If you could play a banjo, I would hire you if I needed you.
I guess that's how I got the job with you.
Anybody you play, fine. Just keep time. It was a boom, chicka boom, chicka boom. That's all you had to have.
That's it. Can you count? You're hired.
And one of the things I used to laugh at is that there was one guy, and I don't remember his name, who was a side banjo player, and he didn't really know keys. So they'd be up on the stage in New York, and so sometimes it was so loud, someone would go like that, C, and he'd go like that, and he'd go back to them with his left hand. He thought there was some kind of, he had no idea, and he'd just start playing. It was just, and he got through the set. That was all I cared.
Was his name Barry?
Look at Jeff again. Jeez.
Oh, Jesus. Now, wait.
Man.
That little kid in the middle, that's Warren Vichet. The greatest cornet,
who's playing
the greatest cornet player ever. And you sent me this woman who weighed less than her instrument
Wow.
played tuba up in Lake Compounds. Up in Lake Compounds.
Little part, this one right here?
The girl is playing the tuba.
Yeah, I think
Warren Bechet.
You
I
would
don't
think I
know
would
who's
remember
playing.
that.
I don't remember who's playing.
oh, she's
I
11.
never knew. I never knew, John. I'd go up there and these cars would show up and people would come out looking for Jeff. And I knew I was up Schitt's Creek. I didn't know them. I never played with them. Warren Vichet blew me off. I said, "Where's your axe?" He said, "Here." And he comes out with this little box, a cornet. And I went, "Oh, Jesus."
Laura.
Hey, Ira.
Hey,
Hey
Ira.
guys, how you doing? Go ahead, Jeff. I like your stories.
What?
He says you're
I
full of
like your
shit, Jeff.
stories.
He looks
If
cute.
you sent me up someone who
Ah.
wasn't on oxygen, I was okay. But I had one guy, a banjo player. I think he was 12. And he started to play. And when I say boom chicka, this kid was boom. Oh, God.
Holy shit.
That's me and Banu, Billy Herbert. The next one is Joel. And then there's Christine. That was Old Timers Day at the Washington, I forget the, it was where the Washington Senators play. And we were dressed up. Look at those outfits.
Hey,
We had-
I don't know if you know it, but I used to make the band wear those outfits in the airport all the way through to the.
Oh, no, I remember that, John. You don't have to remind me.
I used to do that because that was advertising. It was free advertising.
Yeah, right.
Come around and look at us, and I'd hand out cards. Hey, man, always gotta be selling. You always gotta be. What was that movie? You always gotta be closing.
Yeah.
Oh,
You see?
Whoa.
Whoa,
shit, is that Christine?
Yep.
holy
Oh,
cow.
oh. And Banu?
Banu looks
She
different.
sent me a message. She wouldn't be able to join us today. She said perhaps next week.
That's Banu and Christine and me.
Yeah.
God, my mustache was a work of art.
You are. You have a good mustache. Yeah. That's why I ain't mine to be like yours.
And it was dark too, Jeff. It was dark.
I didn't need that. That comment was unnecessary. I put in a little wax today.
I got some pictures on my computer. Can I just put them on somehow? Who's the?
I think the host has to do that.
Yeah, just send them to me and I'll put them on next week.
Okay, because I got a few some real good ones. So there's one thing about the chops. About you were saying the story about Joel told you about the chops, about
Mutton chops.
mutton chops. Well, I got the picture of the original person who had the mutton chops, where he got it
Really?
from. Yep, me. I got the girl who was doing the design for the cards. She saw me and she took the picture because she loved the. The girl was an artist. Suzanne.
That's
Beer.
Suzanne Salmon.
Beer, yeah. She's a great photographer. She comes in the club one day and that office was always dark. I'm wearing a dark suit, dark shirt, dark tie. It looks like I was going to a mafia wedding or a funeral. And I have the mutton chops and there's the light above me is on there. And she said, "John, do you mind if I take a picture of you?" I said, "Okay." I didn't mind. And the picture was great. She took pictures of me that I got somewhere. She just liked to take pictures of, she said, I had the right combination of light and dark. And I thought when she said that, she was saying, that I'm evil and good. No. But she took
I'm putting this back up for Ira. since
Oh,
she's
good old
here.
Russ.
That,
Bo Adams.
I took that picture when we installed the gas lights.
They
And
were
I was in the afternoon from class, because I walked from Cooper Union to the club, and Russ was setting up the bar.
Isn't that
What?
the hospital in the foreground?
Yeah, I think that's St. Vincent's.
St.
Thank-
I
Vincent?
have that oil painting in my office. One
I
of the
don't,
waiters made it for me.
oh, God, St. Vincent's.
The New York Club?
There's the Traveler's Garage next door where we kept the car.
Yep. God,
Wow.
yeah, wow.
I was supposed to go to my daughter's later today and get more pictures, but now that I'm homebound for the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna have to wait. I'll get those pictures. I'll send the pictures to you, and you can have them for next time.
Why are
Okay.
you homebound, John? Are you
Huh?
okay? Why are
I'm
you homebound?
My son was working. One of the employees there came in contact with someone that they don't know.
Oh,
So because it's school, or because it's a school, you got to go on furlough.
Yeah.
So he's on furlough and he's home. So now I'm got to stay home too. I can't, I'm the one who's got to take care of him, because when I'm sick, he takes care of me. When he's sick, I got to take care of him.
hey, at least you have somebody to take care of you. That's good, John.
Yeah, it's better than paying someone.
That's for sure. Well, Jeff would have come and taken care of you.
What?
Right, Jeff?
I don't know if his heart could take it.
I've had 4 heart attacks and a stroke.
I want to tell you something about.
I've been practicing, John.
I want to tell you something about Jeff taking care of me. It was at Lake Compounds. Now,
Oh,
not many of you people know this, but I was an epileptic. I was a grand mal epileptic,
You
which means,
remember?
and there was nothing you could do. Jeff asked me, what do I do? I said, sell tickets, because once I hit that ground, there ain't nothing else you can do.
And I called my father, who was a physician.
Because I'm going into status epileptic. I'm going one after another, and it's just, so he kept, when I come out of it, I just said, put a blanket over me, leave me alone, go to the club, go over there, I'll be okay. But he's panicked, so he calls his dad. And his dad is on the phone with him, and his dad talks to me. And I said, it's all right. I know, he wanted to know if I was taking any drugs. And I said,
Yep.
no. I said, once I told him I was grand mal epileptic, he said, okay. Then he talked to Jeff and said, Jeff, there's nothing you can do. Just let him rest.
Don't put your fingers in his mouth, and don't put a book, because he'll bite your finger off.
That's
And just don't let him fall off the couch.
the worst thing was people, sometimes that would happen. People try to put spoons in my mouth. I would
Yeah.
all my teeth biting down on a spoon. God.
And my father said, keep your fingers out of his mouth. I didn't know what the hell it was.
When I did that,
you-
that was it. When I woke up, my jaws would ache because I had bitten down with such force, and I had stayed that way. You couldn't pry my jaw open when I was having a convulsion.
Yeah, but you were only bad for about half an hour, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Then you settled down.
I went to
Then
sleep.
we went on.
Yeah.
I took the band back on.
Yeah.
But I sat with you. Oh, God. I was going to kill you. I was going to kill you, Murata. You didn't have to have a seizure. I was going to run over you with my car.
That's when I knew.
I go
he
up there to
loved me.
play banjo.
That's when I knew he
To a
loved me. He was this
meat-eating-
close to tears.
A meat-eating crowd, and he decides to have a grand mal seizure.
Hey, I had some beauties.
Okay, we have a little business to do because John, who can't get on, I
It's
think
her.
he asked about these people. Vince, her,
Raleigh Fluck.
Kieran.
Jim
Who's asking
Kiernan.
the question?
Oh, wow.
It's called, his email is Hibernian, and he says, thanks, Tom John. So I think it's John McLennan.
John
John
McLennan.
McLaren? Well, we know where he is.
John can't get on because his computer isn't updated enough.
Can he use a phone, Tom?
He has an old phone, he told me, because it doesn't work either. So I told him that, I can't help because I called him one day and we tried to get it to work, but he can't get on. So he's been watching.
I can answer you about Dexter. The last I remember him, he was working at McDonald's in Times Square and got shot.
I told him that story, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He got shot there. Ed Flint, I have no idea where he is. And Raleigh Fluck, I know the name, but Dennis
God.
Drury,
And
Mark
for my question,
Heater.
I knew Ben Smalley, but I don't know whatever happened.
I never heard of him. Mark Heater, I saw 15 or 16 years ago at Joe Terra's memorial. He was there. Dennis Drury, I have no idea where he is.
Okay, well,
Good.
that answers those questions.
I don't know where they are. I really don't know. I haven't kept track. I've been, since I left New York, I lived in El Paso, Texas. I lived in Fresno, California. And now I'm down here in San Clemente.
Okay. I knew in,
Oh, okay.
knocking on the door.
Sorry, Banu. I'm putting up pictures and then I can't see who's coming in.
Oh,
Sorry, Banu. It takes me a while sometimes to get to all this.
Banu's here. Okay.
That's okay, not a problem. Now I just have to figure out how I see everybody. Hey.
she has to have the video on.
Yep, there we go. I'm not seeing me. Where the hell am I?
You gotta turn your camera on.
You're always waiting for the spotlight.
Select a camera. There we go.
Move
Start.
the camera icon.
There you go.
Hey.
There you go.
Hey.
And we were waiting for Christine. Christine was supposed to come on today.
Oh, was she? Maybe she did.
I thought she was. Barry, you knew about it.
Well, she just sent me a message right before the call started. She had a gathering that came up and she couldn't be here. She said, I'll definitely be there next week. So
I hope the gathering was less than 200 people.
I knew Christine and Murata.
There it is.
God, I'll have to wax my mustache again.
Yeah, let's hope so. My God.
But I
Wow.
tell you what, 2 weeks ago when Christine came on, she looks
Right.
the same.
Oh,
You don't
She
think?
looks exactly the way I remember her.
Exactly the same. I mean, 50 years difference, but
50, holy shit. 50
that's
years,
not,
yeah.
that's not fair.
Banu, don't worry, Banu. I still love you.
Aw.
That's
So
all.
where was
Banu
it?
looks
Where
the
was
same.
it?
Now I
looks the
don't
same.
know. Do you know where Gail Dorflinger ended up? You didn't know Gail?
Yeah.
Where did she end up?
I don't know. I'm trying to. John?
Oh,
I have no idea. And
Gail Dorflinger. Oh my God.
all I know is the people I know is Banu and Christine. I knew we had, who's that girl who sang on the song, There's Enough to Go Around?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, what was her name?
There's milk and honey, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She married, she went on Broadway. She was on,
There's Christine.
she was
Wait,
on
and there's
Broadway with Ella
Banu?
Dolly.
Wow.
And then she married a car dealership guy in Florida. That's the last I heard of her.
The chipmunk, the girl that was the chipmunk, that had the voice, the high voice.
Yeah.
Who we're talking about. Yeah, I wrote her name down. What the heck was it? I don't know. I might be able to find it. I think.
Was it Sue?
No.
Who Motzinger you're thinking of?
Sue Motzinger, I remember.
Yeah. She,
No, not her. I'm gonna. Actually, I think I know where I
Bring me another beer when you're finished, are you ready?
find.
Yeah, Bonnie, bring me one too.
Yeah.
Come get me up here.
I'm still looking for Bob Munsey.
Yeah, anybody else need a beer? Bonnie's gone.
Yeah, no, I'll take a gin and tonic.
You
Hold
Southern
the
girl.
tonic.
Yeah, no, I want a expensive bottle of champagne is what I'll take. Let's see, this was, I'm trying to find Sam's Valley Follies. What was Ed Sullivan show? Let's see. No, it's not going to show up for a minute.
Well, while you're looking at that, here's another one.
Oh
Bill
my
Higby.
God.
Bill
Billy
Higby.
Higby,
Oh, shit.
I have that picture. That's Point Pleasant.
That's Regina Bow.
There's
Point
Gene
Misery,
Gene Root.
Joel.
I don't know who's on tuba.
I walked into the club on Thursday in New York, and Joel had left a message that I was to go to Point Pleasant for the weekend. And I said, why? Nobody knew. Then Joel called in or stopped it. He said, I want you to train the new banjo player. He's a young kid, Billy Higby. And I said, I can't train myself, let alone train anyone else.
Plus,
You
he
want
was
me to-
left-handed.
No, he just said, teach him about the attitude. Well, that I knew. And how to read a crowd. And
Wow.
I went down,
When the hell do you teach that?
Barry, it was a course I took in mixed up personalities. It was, oh my God. You know how long ago that is? I think World War I just ended. I don't, gee,
Wow.
I kept in touch with Bill when he was in the nursing home before he died.
yes.
Yeah, that
Wow.
was tough.
Oh, geez. What did he die of? How old was he?
He was in there for years. Bill's younger than me. He's probably, I don't think he was 70 yet.
I said
Wow.
at Carnegie, he played with the oxygen
Oh,
mask.
really?
No, that wasn't Billy. That was someone else.
No,
He never played with oxygen, Barry, not that I know.
No,
Well,
he
maybe he
just-
was on the stage, but he was there with oxygen because I sat right next to him and talked to him
Where?
for Carnegie.
all I know is that Billy,
Oh, shit, Carnegie, yeah.
Billy
Did he
was-
have, he had oxygen at Carnegie?
He had an oxygen mask on as he was playing Bye Bye Blackbird.
Okay.
no, that was someone else. It's another banjo player who was on oxygen.
Well, maybe so.
Billy just wore out.
Unless
I
he was playing like
I
he was
spoke.
he was
He could,
left-handed too.
He was the only left-handed banjo player I knew.
Yes.
yes, and he could call a good set. And Billy had a great sense of humor. He
was
just
funny.
wore out. He went blind slowly.
Whoa,
He
geez.
Oh, I
had,
didn't know that, Jeff.
he had glaucoma,
Oof.
and that's how he ended up. He fell down. He lived in Possum Breath, New Jersey, someplace
Yeah.
in Bumfart. It was nowhere. And he was losing his vision, and he fell down and he twisted or broke something. And from then on, he lost the vision in one eye, and then he started losing it in the other eye. And then he had trouble walking. And he went into the nursing home,
Right.
and he just wore out. He
Wow.
wore out.
And he
It
moved to
was-
another nursing home after that.
Yes.
I knew,
Yes.
did you know him, Bill Higby?
Yeah.
He was a sweet kid.
He's a good guy, Bill.
Sweet kid. Everybody's a sweet kid.
Are we still sweet kids?
Oh, you,
Absolutely.
You,
only you. Yeah, but
I
dude,
gotta
I
tell
got
you
something. I
something.
got something. But dude, this is for you.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jackie Gleason, Sonny Helmer.
Yep. Yep. Kathy Teasdale. What was the trombone player? What was his name? I don't remember.
Sonny Helmer.
Bone players, Sonny Helmer.
No,
Johnny Hill.
not that one. The other guy standing, or was he playing tuba or something? He's the one on the end that's tall.
Oh, this guy over here?
Oh,
Hold
the
it
guy
up,
who's
John.
about eight. The guy who's about 8 feet
Dennis
tall.
Shuri?
Ron Gall.
Oh, Ron Cole. I don't know him. I know the name.
Yeah, Ron Gall.
Oh my God. Jeez. I'm still looking for the girl's name. As soon as we get off, I'll think of it. It'll be one of those sit up at 2 o'clock in the morning and go, oh my God, I thought of her name. So
That
Oh, the
happens.
Zoom meeting.
That
yeah,
happens to
phone
me every day.
Wow.
That happens to me every day.
2
Oh, geez,
o'clock,
I know.
we'll- 2 o'clock in the morning, we'll all be getting up to go to the bathroom.
Good, I'll just catch everybody on their way.
That's,
Do you
that's-
remember when Buzzy was working the New York club that he used to have 3, they'd hire him and he'd say, well, what do you want? Do you want the $8 show, the $10 show, or the $12 show? You remember that? And he used to say, and they'd say, and I think it was Tara, I don't know, somebody said to him, so what's the difference? And he said, well, for $8 I just stand there and I play. And then for $10 I'll sway. And then for $12 I'll play the banjo behind my head. And you'll get that's the big show. That's where you get the whole thing.
God.
Remember, yeah, it's interesting teaching them how to read an audience, because that's something that's just like, I don't know how in the hell you teach that. That's kind of innate.
Yeah, that's not.
Gotta be
I
shown.
don't- I did it
I mean,
up.
Barry
I
was
did
great
it up
at
in
doing it.
Boston.
You were great at doing it.
But nobody taught me. Well,
I
you know
know.
who taught me? By watching Gentry, who's right above you right now. Mike Gentry, I watched him. And I guess that's how I learned it, by observation.
Yeah, I
That's
think
it.
that's how you do it, by playing.
That's
on
it.
But you couldn't take a test and say, have somebody
No.
No,
do that.
no. And it was an attitude. It
Yeah.
was an attitude. If you didn't take yourself seriously,
You couldn't be
all of
afraid.
the guys,
That's for sure. When
all
you
of
got
the-
up on
be
that
afraid.
stage, you couldn't be afraid.
That's right. Fearless. That's true.
Fearless.
Whether
And a
you made
little-
a mistake or not, you just kept on going.
a little strange. I was a little,
Remember once in the New York club, we paid Sam Palafian $100 to stand on his head and play the tuba, and he did it.
To do what? Stand on. I lost everybody. What did I hit?
Sam Palafian, remember him?
Oh God, do I?
Okay. We once
Sam
paid him
was-
$100 to stand on his head and play the tuba. And Joe Terra held his legs up and he played the tuba.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Hey,
I remember
everybody,
that.
I somehow lost my screen. How do I get it back?
Go up to the
You're
top.
there.
Well, you see me, but I don't see you guys.
and
touch your
Uh,
screen,
Be there somewhere.
touch the
How about
screen.
on the video on the bottom?
I'm not seeing anything. I wonder if I have to zoom,
Go back to your Zoom invitation and try that again.
yeah. Except
That
I
didn't
got
work
it
for
on-
me, Tom. I had to put in the passwords and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Either that or you didn't let me in, one of the two.
Well, how long were you trying to get in?
5 minutes.
Okay, see, if I put pictures up, I can't see the screen.
Banu, see if you take your cursor up to the top and see if it pops up for you to select.
It should say
I'm gonna try joining the meeting.
video.
Maybe she leaves the meeting and comes back in.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that. Let me see, join meeting. I'll put all that stuff back in. So you may lose me for a minute.
Joe, you're getting a lot of rain up in Clearwater. Joan.
Way to go, Mike.
There you are. Okay, I
Joan, you're
can.
getting a lot of rain up in Clearwater.
But you know,
Joan, can you hear?
talking about the audience, putting on the show and how do you teach it?
Uh-huh.
The thing that amazes me is all of us,
Wildflower Cafe.
we took a formula. Uh-oh.
Hello.
Oh, that's right.
If that's the agent, say yes, we'll take anything.
If it's a game,
Anu,
we're
Anu,
there.
can you see us now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
But anyway, we all took a formula, which was doing medleys, doing clap-alongs, sing-alongs, key changes, and tempo changes. And then everybody, I think, put their own personality into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the formula we all followed, all of us.
No, no,
Yeah.
that's much later. When we started in New York, the banjo players wanted to play music. They wanted to show what they could do on the banjo. And we had guys like that. Ronnie Bill, Ronnie Bizel, and Gim. They could play beautifully. Now, Gim didn't kill the crowd. Ronnie Bill, who was probably the best banjoist, would put people into a coma because he never laughed, never smiled. And Ronnie Bizel was always smiling to the girls.
He's a
in the
handsome
front
guy.
row. Oh, he was
Pick up the
He
girls.
was so handsome. You could puke. The guy with, there's,
Whoa.
look at that. Look at that picture.
Look at that smile.
God damn. And he
Yeah.
is the nicest human being ever. Just the nicest guy.
Yeah, by the way, Gim's not here today because he's out of electricity. The hurricane hit.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
And you all saw that. I hope you saw in the note I sent out that Joel responded. He didn't respond very much, but he's still
Right.
alive.
he's still alive. That's all it's. Hey, how old is Joel now?
He's probably, what, 78?
No,
Joel was born in 1936. Go from there. He's 84.
That's 84.
84. Because I'm 80.
I thought he was younger.
No,
Uh,
he just looks old.
I'm 77, and he was about 7 or 8 years older than me back then.
No, I'm
84. Yeah.
John. I'm
Right.
80,
I know.
and
Yeah.
he was 4 or 5 years older than me.
I know.
Yeah.
As I said, he was 7 or 8 years older than me back then, and you're 2 years older than me. Of course, I look better. I look better than you.
Excuse me. Excuse
You know,
me.
Jeff,
It's
Jeffrey.
the Italian. It's the Italian genes, kid. It's the genes.
Yeah, wear them tight.
Jeffrey. You
Hey,
know,
Barry.
Jeans tight.
Barry, Joan asked me the other day how old you were.
For me?
Barry,
I'm going to be
Don't
68.
answer.
Yeah,
Don't-
I'm
I
81.
guess you're not 70 yet.
81.
So I'm 68.
68.
Wow.
Jeez.
Been
I'm
either.
one of the babies.
Now
Oh,
there,
Look at that. Oh, I love
I
it.
was 24.
Wow.
I was 24.
Look at us. In my stupid wig.
Do you believe? Oh, you were
Eye makeup.
effervescent.
Yep,
You
that was
were
me.
effervescent.
Are you saying she's like 7 Up?
No, champagne.
Oh, I like that. There we go.
That's better
Champagne.
one.
Look at that. Oh my God.
Look at
Just-
the color of my hair.
Is this, what the hell was this?
That was Old Timers Day in Washington.
Happy
We were
birthday.
playing the game, and this. Oh, Manu, this is at the beginning where we backed up Robert Merrill,
Oh, my God.
principal baritone for the Metropolitan Opera.
Yeah.
Playing the national anthem. We backed him up,
You're kidding.
and
Well, I bet that sounded great.
He never sounded better.
all I know is that we actually tuned.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yes.
There he is. Joel's got to stick his. Jeff's got to stick his face in this picture.
I do
Got
not
it.
Yeah.
remember this gig.
Who was playing the tuba that's sitting there?
It was in, this was in Washington DC?
Yes.
We took a train down. Was this the one with the, no, that can't be the one.
That was a movie that we took the train down for. They
Okay,
had,
yeah, that was a Bippy, something near Bippy. And,
they had
yeah,
the
we got that
opening.
picture.
They took the picture on. They opened the picture and they had the party on the train down to.
Right. And it was so hard because the train was rocking all over the place, and it was so hard for Christine to play because Rolling Around wasn't as bad for the banjo players, but the horn players were it was like really tough. Of course, it didn't bother me at all. Standing around whack a tambourine.
God.
That's, yeah, those pictures from, okay, I remember that. Yeah. Something a wild Bippy or the Maltese Bippy.
The what?
Maltese Bippy.
The Maltese?
Yeah, yep, like yeah.
B-I-P-P-I.
I will
Is that a
find
road
that
in Mark?
picture. I got a picture of that someplace of us standing outside it.
It was
Hey,
a comedy.
where do I send some pictures to show for you to put up on the screen?
To Tom.
Send them to Tom.
The
Yeah,
one-
but I mean, what's
the
your
one who
email?
sends you I send you the links and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So just reply back and just send me the pictures.
And by the way, Tom, thank you so much for all you do keeping this together. We appreciate
Yeah,
it.
man.
Yeah, thank you.
It's great. It's fun.
That's terrific.
And now
Crazy.
you're doing the photos. By the way, Tom's the person that took all those wonderful photos from Carnegie incognito, because we weren't supposed to take the photos like the one behind me right here.
Tom took that one.
Tom took all those photos.
Why weren't they supposed to take photos, Barry?
There was supposed to be no visual or auditory copies of the performance.
I got the whole
okay.
thing on
And
video.
Tom took about 300 photos.
Yes,
The whole thing on video. I took it.
I've got it on a CD.
Wow.
Oh, I've got the CD.
God, well, I gotta go, people. It was
That's the CD right
wonderful.
here.
It
I'm gonna
was
go
wonderful.
too. Bonnie, we're trying to get Sunny on here.
Oh my God. You know,
Oh.
I just talked to him the other day. He's in the hospital right now.
Yeah.
So he's
Oh.
having kidney problems, and I haven't been able to get him on the phone yet since I tried to reach him. So
I
don't-
talked to his friend Fred, and he's gonna try to set it up, so we'll see.
great, great.
Cross fingers.
great.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you next
long.
week.
Bye, Joan.
Take care.
And
Stay
next
safe in Florida.
try again to get Banu and Christine and John Murata together.
Yeah,
Okay.
Bother
Oh.
with messages.
we're gonna do a Murata sandwich,
Uh,
Christine and I on either side.
Maybe we can get Christine next week to come.
I hope so. That'd be
Try
great.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get a picture of her daughter in when she was in New Orleans. She was like 18 or 19, and with my daughter standing in the French Quarter, and we named our daughter Jessica because Buzzy loved Christine's daughter Jessica so much that he wanted to name her after Christine's
about that?
daughter.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
nice.
So, I mean, that wasn't my first choice, but he was just like, loved that kid so much. He thought she was so great. So, thought maybe it'd rub off on ours. And it
Well,
did.
you know, a little while ago, John mentioned effervescent 7-Up. Christine told me one time, I remember in a plane, that her husband, her ex-husband, was a marketing guy that came up with the phrase, the uncola.
Really?
Wow.
Whoa.
I said, what are you doing playing for John Murata?
Yeah.
That was my ex-husband.
Was she only married once, Christine?
Twice. Married a coal miner in Pennsylvania.
So was she married before she met Bob Adams, and then
Married a guy she met in college.
That's what she told me.
That's Jessica's
I came up
father.
with the uncola.
what?
That's Jessica's
Must have been
father.
my-
Her
must have
and
been a
Bob
mistake
never
when
got
I
married.
when got a refill.
Yeah, she was married before she met Bob.
Oh, okay. And
He
then
was married to the guy from college. They split up. That's when she came to New York, Chicago. She started playing in Chicago. And she came to New York. And then after I left, I talked to her once after I had been in El Paso for a few years. And she had moved to, I forgot where in Pennsylvania, but she had told me she married a coal miner. And she was happy. She sounded very happy. So.
You look happy 2 weeks ago, John, don't you think?
Yeah, she was down in, now she lives in South Carolina, was it?
Right.
Down there. But they got hit by the hurricane, didn't they?
Yeah. They got hit worse than Florida.
But Ira, were you shocked she looked the same? Huh?
She looked fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow. Oh, I
Well,
can't
she
wait
looked
to
just
see
like that 15 years ago at Joe Terra's memorial. I was with her.
Uh-huh.
She never aged.
Huh.
Wow.
Amazing. She's like me.
She looked good.
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know.
I
Aside
love
from
it.
the hair. Me and Ira, if the hair was black.
That's right.
One time, my wife, I was going to go out for a job interview. My wife says, "Don't go with your gray hair." I said, "Why not? I'm used to it. That's the way." She says, "No, get your hair dyed." I said, "No, I never was into that stuff." So my daughter's friend had her own hairdressing business, so she dyed my hair. So she comes
No.
over. She says, "What color was your hair?" I said, "It was black." So she dyes my hair black. All right, the next day I go out and I'm in the sun and I'm talking to this woman in the sun and her mother's with her, an older woman. And the woman kept saying to her daughter, "Why is his hair blue? Why is his hair blue?" In the sunlight, when you have gray hair, you can't dye your hair black because the gray hair has something in it. I don't know. In the meantime, then I went and I got black mustache wax. So I go to this lunch meeting where I'm looking for a job and I'm eating. I go and wipe my mustache and I look and there's all black. So, I went home. I said to my wife, "Get that woman back here and get this stuff washed out of my hair."
Yeah, really.
I'm never going to do that again. If they don't like me with gray hair, screw them.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, you're another
That's the
silver
attitude.
fox.
It was the funniest thing though. The poor woman. "Why is his hair blue?" And the woman said, "No, Ma, he's not blue. His hair's not blue." And she's trying to hit her with the elbow. And the poor woman is
So, John, you remember when you and your wife bought a piano?
Yeah,
You were
that was
living in
Bob
Queens.
Adams.
Well, Bob Adams was my boss. I mean, you were the boss, but as far as I was concerned, Bob was the boss.
Right.
He says, "Look, we need to get a piano over to John Murata's house, and you're driving the moving truck." I said, "Me? I'm driving a moving truck? I'm only 19. It doesn't matter." It was a big old moving van. Here I am driving down Manhattan to Queens. And I remember scared shitless. I got to get in the next lane, turn right, put your blinker on, count to 5, and just go.
Oh,
At least you put your blinker on. They don't do that in New York.
Back to your house in Queens, I think it was.
Yeah. I loved that piano. It was an old upright. I hated it even. I left it there when I moved, but it was great. Oh man, I had learned, and I used to play the piano when I was young, like 7, 8, 9, and 10, but I had not touched it in a while. So I hired a teacher from the public school, my daughter's public school, and she did it just for the hell of it. And man, I just went right back into. I like playing classical music. And on that piano, it just sounded beautiful. It killed me to leave that piano there. It was a great piano.
It was a heavy piano. I remember moving it.
I'm surprised we didn't have to take a window frame out to get it in.
Yeah, we got it in. But to me, I'll never forget driving that big, huge
That was a big truck, yeah.
huge truck.
I had to do that once in New York, driving I guess I was moving furniture or something, and I, just like you, Barry, I was terrified. I was like trying to drive a big ass truck in New York City. It's like,
Yeah.
I was going to hit something or somebody was going to hit me.
And that's what Bob told me. He said, "Put your blinkers on and count to 5 and go." I said, "You shit me." He said, "No." Yeah, and that's what I ended up doing. I would have never got there.
I love it.
Yeah.
Jeez. So that's John's house. So now I can look at his house when he's getting up.
Look at that.
Where's John living now? Where's home?
He lives in California, I believe.
He's in California.
California. What part?
Is he southern by LA?
I thought it was San Juan Capistrano, maybe, or something like that.
That's south.
That's up north more.
That is? Capistrano's?
That's down south.
That's
That's
south.
by LA. Yeah.
Capistranos by LA?
I thought it was south, but I don't know.
Hey, I'm heading out, guys. We'll see you later.
Okay.
Bye.
Hey, Mike.
Take care, Mike.
See you again. See you next week.
Hey, Mike.
Bye-bye.
Hello.
Next week.
I do my, no, it's out of something or other.
Where'd John go? He must have
I
had to
think
go
he
to the
went
bathroom.
He probably had to excuse himself.
Yes.
We can all ask him when he comes back.
So
Yeah,
I
right.
remember Banu was telling a story that the first time Buzzy was hired in New Orleans, I called him to take my place at the Mustache. He played one night, and the next day, and that morning was the fire, and the
Oh,
band
wow.
got burnt up. Can you believe that?
Really?
Yeah.
So he was the last banjo player in New Orleans.
He was the last banjo player in New Orleans. I was the last band leader in New Orleans and New York.
Yeah, I remember New York.
All the clubs.
You were a jinx.
I was a jinx.
Yeah, but the New York club didn't burn down.
No.
What's there now? What's in the New York, where the New York club was?
On the bottom.
I think it's a big health club, right? Gym, health club. It's like 4 stories.
The
Three
health club
stories.
on top, on the bottom, the street level, it's like a Whole Foods.
Wow.
I think they tore it down and built it up again.
It's like a 4-story building there.
Yeah. The top floor is a gym.
Right. I knew there was a gym there.
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago, I put a picture of it on Facebook.
Right. I saw that picture.
Yeah.
Oh,
A couple of years ago, I went back there and went down to it was my son's, we were celebrating something for my son, so we went back to New York, and we went to see the play on Broadway about the boots, the red boots. I don't.
Pinky
Pinky boots.
Pinky boots.
So I said, okay, we're gonna go see a play. We're gonna see something else. I'm gonna take you to a nightclub tomorrow. So the next night we went around the corner to the old gay place, and we saw the show there. And my son was, wow, you know, this was. He didn't realize. He never. And I said, this is the way people are. He says, but I've never seen anything like this. There's nothing like this where we live. I said, we live in San Clemente, California. The only people there are
That
people
answers that.
who surf. If you don't surf, you don't belong. I said, what do you think I surf for? Just so that I could get you into school.
Is that where you live, San Clemente?
Yeah.
Where's
Love it.
that near, John?
It's just below San Juan Capistrano.
Yeah.
Which is where?
It's halfway between San Diego and LA.
Oh, so it's south of LA.
And
Okay.
it's right on one side of us is the military base, Camp Pendleton.
Yeah.
And on the other side is you got Dana Point, San Juan Capistrano, and then you go into Orange County. But
That's where all the birds fly to, right?
huh?
Yeah.
All the birds fly there.
Are you close? Are you close to Oceanside?
Oceanside's 20 minutes, not even 15
We
minutes.
have
Yeah.
family there.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Well, next time you come and see him, you got a place to see. Come
There you
by.
Hey, what did one tonsil say to the other tonsil?
I give up.
Don't know it, huh? We must be in Capistrano because here comes another.
And on that joke, I'm out of here. I'm going to come back next Friday. I'm going to try to find out the girl's name, the chipmunks.
Find out the girl's name, and I'm going to pressure Christine a little bit more.
Great.
Yeah, get her to get on, Barry.
You too.
Great. All right. Well, I love you guys.
Hey, y'all send pictures to Tom.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You
Oh,
got
so
it.
he could put them up.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got it.
I'll send my pictures to you too. So long, baby.
Okay, we'll see you all
guys.
later. Bye
Okay,
now.
bye.
Bye, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you, Tom.
Bye.
Bye, Billy. Bye, David.
Goodbye, guys.
Come on, guys, I'm
Take care.
checking
Bye,
out.
Ira.